there's a little over 30 people on the YouTube stream, and I think we can just get started, and then people will join in as people are joining in now. I think we can get started, and people will just join in as is necessary. From the Tabligh team, I was request that whoever is not speaking, if you just turn your video off too, it makes it easier for the rest of the team, especially on the YouTube stream. But Muslim side, maybe if you can leave yours on. So we'll just go ahead and get started. And, first and foremost, I want to say Jazakallah to the National Tabligh team for taking the time out to do this for us. You know, this is a very important skill for us all in these times. So we'll just go ahead and get started right away. And I'll request Zahir Manan Saab to lead us in the recitation of the Holy Quran, and then we can begin.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والمرسلات عرفا فالعاصفات عصفا والناشرات نشرا فالفارقات فرقا فالملقيات ذكرا عذرا أو نذرا إنما توعدون لواقع. Translation: I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the ever merciful. Chapter 77, Surah Al-Mursalat. By those sent forth to spread goodness, then they push on with a forceful pushing, and by those who spread the truth, a good spreading. Then they distinguish fully between good and evil. Then they carry the exhortation far and wide, to excuse some and warn others. Verily that which you have been promised must come to pass. Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah, Zahir Bhai. So I'll just give a quick introduction to the team so we can get started. So first and foremost, I just want to say Jazakallah to the National Tabligh team for taking the time out to do this. I think this is one of the topics that's extremely relevant for our Khuddam today, as now we might have a little extra time on our hands, especially behind the computer, to be able to go and spread the message of Islam, even though we're stuck at home. You know, yesterday I was trying my hand at some online Twitter Tabligh, and now I'm really looking forward to learning what I'm doing so I can be better next time, inshallah, in this presentation. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Mohtamim Saab and you can get started.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Ji, we can hear you.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. As mentioned, my name is Tamoor Khan and I'm serving as Mohtamim Tabligh for Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya. Our presentation today is how to do Tabligh while quarantined. So we're going to focus on the big three social media, basically Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We have presenters who are going to be speaking on each one. Before we jump into the presentations, just something I want you to think about during this segment. So studies show that about 80% of youth, so between the ages of about 12 and 20, have some type of social media account. And I know most of the Khuddam here probably have social media accounts. They probably don't do Tabligh, but they have Instagram or Twitter. And while they're on these accounts, you'll probably see, I mean, it's inevitable, you'll see something against Islam or Ahmadiyyat. And sometimes, you might see something, you'll just scroll past it. Somebody's saying something against Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and you just scroll past it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is during a speech, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Khamis, may Allah be his helper, mentioned that there was a student in class and somebody jokingly, or whether it was a joke or it wasn't, they said that Muslims worship the devil. And the student was just remained quiet. They didn't say anything. And Hazur mentioned that that student should have said something. At least they should have at least stood up. If they didn't want to defend Islam, they should have just at least said that, we don't worship the devil. So when you're looking through any of these tweets, you see something, somebody saying something, it's best to either, if you don't want to respond, send that to maybe somebody on the Tabligh team and ask, what should I say, or how should I respond, or have one of us respond to that message that you see online instead of just letting it go. And with that, I just want to share my screen here real quick. share a quick message that I saw online. Give me 1 second here. And this is a quote from Hazrat Khalifatul al-Masih. There was a mulakat with Khudam from Norway. And a few Khudam asked on social media, how can we respond when we see somebody, we're doing tabligh on social media. So Azur said that whenever somebody comments and raises allegations against Islam, you should respond in such a manner that they have no further question to raise. This is why I've said that there should be a team within Khudam al-Ahmadiyya who can take this responsibility. So we do have a online Tabligh team, which we've set up, and we do have a Telegram group as well you can join, and I'll share that link with you right here. And the URL for that is rebrand.ly/online Tabligh. You can also take a picture of this QR code. You can scan it if you want to join our group, help us out. There's many different platforms you can join. If you have any questions, how to respond to certain allegations, you can ask in there and we'll try to help you out. And I would encourage all the Khuddam who are watching, if you want to join and help us out, that would be great. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into the presentations. We'll start off with Facebook, inshallah, and then Facebook, then Twitter, and then Instagram, and then a quick Q&A session where you can ask us any questions that you may have. So with that, we'll jump to Zahir Pai. We'll start us off with Facebook.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. So as Motamem Saab mentioned, this is Hazur's request and wish from us, Khuddam, to respond to allegations, to spread the message of Islam, Ahmadiyyat. And this was the mission of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was the reason why Promised Messiah was sent to the world. So using social media for Tabligh, there's a few pointers that we want to give out as a team. Basically, our purpose is to figure out how to use social media for Tabligh, right? In subtle and obvious ways. And it's not just posting, quotes or Tablighi things to each other, to Ahmadis, but also to find out where a large number of non-Muslims, non-Ahmadis are, and to post directly to them. Okay, so and to get more Ahmadis involved, inshallah ta'ala. So this is the purpose. So really quickly, what is Facebook and why use it? I'm sure many of you know about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but Facebook is the largest social media platform on earth with about 2.23 billion active users. That's 1/3 of the world. So, within a very short period of time, you can reach hundreds, even thousands of people, and that's with very little effort, right? And even this one-on-one tabligh that happens on social media seems to be one-on-one, but there's a lot of collateral education happening, collateral tabligh, meaning that other people who are seeing your posts, your public posts, and your answers to questions and allegations and other people's posts, they can see what you're posting. So even if the person that you're doing tabligh with doesn't understand or wants to sidestep you or ignore you, there's still a lot of collateral education and collateral tabligh happening. Many times we get messages from people saying, we just saw the way that you responded, and it just got us interested. So I want to point out that on Facebook we have official, pages. We have our MK Tabligh department, right? It's called Muslim Youth USA Outreach. You wanna like that page and share the posts that are there. We also have the Jamaat Tabligh page, which is Muslims for Peace, which is the official, and the links are down here. We can also share that. Now, I want to talk about a few ways of how do I do effective tabligh. Of course, you want to do it with wisdom. So first and foremost, like I said, check out our official accounts on Facebook, our MK account and our other accounts. Like and share the posts there and the pages, and help us reach a wider audience, right? Because whoever you're friends with or whoever your circles are, they'll get to see what we've been posting on our official accounts. Another way to do is to post your own content and material, quotes, pictures, videos, announcements, etc. Here are some tips. You can ask a question, but be direct. This will engage your audience, engage the people that are on the social media platform. Keep it short. But of course, this is Facebook. Facebook doesn't have a character limit, which goes a long way in replying, but you still want to keep it short so that there's some interactions and back and forth, right? Give a clear call to action, offer some valuable information, give them a link. We normally give our Jamaat link or our MKUSA link, and I'm going to share that later on. Be positive, right? Never take it personally. Keep your cool, and you can post an image or a video. Make it provocative, timely, or just simply post, right? That'll increase your chances of visibility and people coming to check your posts out. Okay. The do's and don'ts guidelines. This is actually, we discussed this and shared this. This is from actually the National Jamaat Tabligh department, but this works for us as well. Be concise and to the point. Don't use words that are offensive or hurtful. That goes a long way because our characteristics are also a form of tabligh, silent tabligh. In your comments, don't mention that the writer is ignorant, right? You want to be quick to say that, oh, you don't know this, or you're ignorant, or you don't have enough knowledge. But this is a learning experience for everybody and a learning platform for everybody. We want to keep it dignified. I call it dignified dialogue. Control your anger, right? And be calm and peaceful, right? If you're about to post and you're excited or angry and upset, put the phone down, take a breather, do a dua, and then go back and then post. That's happened to me a few times myself. Please don't use terms that other people aren't familiar with, like alayhi salam, right? We could just post peace be upon them. Always be direct, and direct the writer and readers to alislam.org and our other websites that of course that I'm going to get into. In many places, we want to use, our Jamaat name, Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Organization or Association. We want to use full names like Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam, and write peace be upon him instead of alayhi salam, and use terms like the awaited Messiah, the Reformer, etc. We have videos that have these terminologies in there as well. Most websites, you'll need to sign up and make your own account. If you don't have an account, you can make it. It's free, it's simple, and it's easy. If you need any help, you can DM me or Motamim Saab or anybody else on the team, like Damon Stengel and anybody else on the team, and we'll help you out. Engage one-on-one with people on Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms by DM. You can give them your email to discuss further, and I'll also show you this on a Facebook page. Where do I get my information? Our resources. Many people are afraid that they don't have enough knowledge or they're shy to respond. One thing you can do is go on our pages and see how we do it, right? And how we interact and engage with people. We have many resources, right? Al Islam, True Islam, Muslims for Peace. We have the Holy Quran search. We have the Hadith compendium search, which is sunnah.com, number 9. We have examples of Hazur's life, khalifatul-masih.org. We have the Answers that Motamim Saab helped create. We have comparative articles on review of religion. So many times when you're doing tabligh, when you don't have the knowledge, you gain the knowledge, right? You want to find out how to respond to somebody, you go and read something, get a point and bring it back, right? So you're also learning. Not everybody has all the knowledge. So these are our Jamaat resources and, Khudam resources. Now I'm going to go straight into examples. One example I just want to show is that Motamim Saab posted a very nice video about how to change your life in 40 days, praying to God, whatever religion you follow, right? But of course, many people who are against Prophet Muhammad or Ahmadiyyat are gonna come and say that, gonna attack his character and attack us and our faith. So remember that it's not a personal attack, right? So this guy, Ron Bailey, you can see here, posted that when Auzubillah Muhammad is a false prophet. So when I saw that and I read it, of course, that's going to blow you up a little bit, but you want to take it easy and respond. And you can see the way that I responded. I said, peace be with you. Islam is a religion of peace. And I mentioned a local example. When our mosque was shot at, we were compelled to forgive the guy because that's the Sunnah. That's what the Holy Quran teaches us. And then I go in to say how Hazrat Isa alayhi salam prophesied about him from his own scripture, from the Gospels, and then so on and so forth. So in the beginning, he was pretty hostile, and at the end, you can see here that he says that I'm thankful for you inquiring about my health, right? At the end, I always say something like, if you need any help amid the COVID crisis, then, please reach out to us and we can provide the relief or any shopping you need to do or anything like that. So remember to also reach out and say that we can serve you, because that's also part of the Tabligh, right? So I'm just gonna go here onto my Facebook page real quick, if it allows me. It doesn't. I'm just gonna jump in the link right here. So here I go. So I just want to show you that on my own Facebook page, I have my my email address as well as my phone number. So that's in the about me thing. So you can put it right there. Here again, request a delivery. To me, that's a big part of the Tabligh, because we're also wanting to serve people. I post things like, wishing my Christian siblings happy Palm Sunday. That gets a lot of responses. So these are just examples right here, of how the Holy Prophet ﷺ changed the world and what non-Muslims have said about him, so on and so forth. And I also share my letters to the editor. One way of doing Tabligh is Jihad bil Qalam, right? Majlis Ansar Sultan al Qalam. You can do a lot of Tabligh through newspaper articles and things like that. So now just going back, just to end my portion of it, I just want to tell you that there are more platforms to do Tabligh: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, Pinterest, Snapchat, etc. Check them out. We'll create a free account. And as Motamim Saab said, join our MK online Tabligh. Jazakallah, that concludes my portion.
Jazakallah. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into Twitter. And Damon, brother Damon, are you ready?
So in the meantime, while Damon Bhai gets his while he unmutes his mic and then stops video, the one point as well is that when we get to the question and answer session, if you have any comments, we're monitoring the YouTube comments. If you have any comments there, just go ahead and make them, and we can interact. That way you're not unshare your screen.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties right now, but inshallah. Oh, here it is.
Were you able to get it, Dim?
So Damon, you can just go ahead and not share your screen. I'll share from my screen, and you can just direct everyone to switch the slides.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties right now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
everything okay now? Because I'm
Yep.
sharing from my end now.
Yep.
My
You can go ahead.
my apologies for that, guys. All right. So anyway, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I'm going to speak on Twitter. So what is Twitter? And how can a Qadam looking to do tabligh on social media use this site? So I'm gonna go over a little bit of an introduction on this site, if it allows me to.
James, why don't you just unshare your screen? I'll share from my computer, and you can just direct me on when to change the file.
Sure. Okay. So what is Twitter, and how can a Qadam looking to do tabligh on social media use this site? Uh, direct. So introduction. How to use Twitter. Can you move to slide 3, brother? Twitter is a social network service where people can reach one another through brief messages known as tweets. Tweets have a limit of 280 characters. For statuses more than 280 characters, there are threads to which tweets being added in response to the original, and in turn, a response made to the reply. I don't think I read my slide right. So basically, when you get more than 280 characters, you can no longer add to your tweet, but you can make threads and you can make a tweet in response to the tweet that you made, which is also a total of 280 characters. Twitter has private messaging included as well. So, can you move to slide 4, brother? If viewed from a computer, click on the bar near the top center that states what's happening and type in your tweets. And can you move to the next slide, brother? Or if you're on mobile, you can click on the icon that's in a little blue circle and you make a tweet. And next slide. How can I reply to a tweet? Click anywhere on a tweet that you intend to reply to. The quotation symbol indicates to make a tweet. There's a quotation symbol indicated to make a tweet and replying to the tweets. So I have a picture. Due to my own technical difficulties, I am not very organized right now. Forgive me, brothers. But Twitter has a quotation symbol where you can click on it and then it says reply and then type whatever you need. And then the double arrow symbol indicates sharing the tweet, which is called retweeting. So it's like sharing a post on Facebook. And a heart button indicates you liking a tweet. Arrow button, which is on the right side of the thing on the bottom of the tweets, which indicates where you want to send your tweet. So you can send it in DMs, or you can bookmark it, or to copy the link to the tweets. So I have a picture underneath which states send via direct message, add tweets to bookmarks, copy link to tweets. Next slide. So for example, I've included, see, I intended to do it from my screen, but I'm not speaking very well right now. But I intended to show this screen where you could find the quotation symbol, the retweet symbol, and the like symbol, and the last symbol I mentioned next to slide. And similarly, that's the case on mobile. You see the quote bubble, you see the retweet symbol, you see the heart symbol, and then the next symbol. Next. How can I do Tabligh on Twitter? So the Quran has some brief standards for how to convey the message. So the 96th chapter states that you convey the message, and the third chapter states that if they dispute with you, you tell them, I have submitted myself to Allah, and if they still don't believe you, then you just tell them that your only way of conveying is to just convey the message to them. The 25th chapter, if they still don't listen to you, you say peace. Next slide. So we have examples from the Hadith, how to be in discussions. Brother Zahir has already commented on how to do Tabligh on social media, but I just wanted to add in some Hadith that admonishes us that we need to be a little bit easy and not hard on anyone. Next slide. And then here's some advice from the Promised Messiah to make sure that you be detailed in your responses to people, and make sure that you answer every single objection that they tell you in a respectful manner. Next slide. And then here, the Promised Messiah forbids members of his Jamaat from, I'm going to say the common term, getting into it with people. Don't get into it with people, because that's not what we're here for, brothers. We're here to gently convey the message. Next slide. The Promised Messiah said not to be arrogant and never use harsh words, but rather be gentle, which he again iterates in these points. Next slide. And then here are some examples of decent Twitter discussions. So here I'm responding to a man that's kind of being very stubborn with his views, and I was trying to tell him, but this is what we believe in, and this is the truth. I mean, sometimes it could be very tempting to get frustrated with them, but it's always important to remain calm and just tell them the truth no matter what. I even DM'd this Judas fan and said, hey, please be guided to the truth, and for something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said. And then on the right one, there's an example of Brother Zahir. He was replying to an angry person, but yet he remained calm. Just like he said on Facebook, he remained calm and just stayed to the point. Next slide. And again, on the right. And again, here's Brother Adil. He is telling the audience that we do service for humanity, and that we do volunteer work. Next slide. Even though I said Jazakallah in this slide, I do want to add hashtag campaigns. So basically what hashtag campaigns are just hashtag campaigns organized by Jamaats, where, for example, on the 23rd of March, we had the Promised Messiah Day, and we did a hashtag campaign of the Messiah has come. So basically what you do is that, I'm going to try to share from my screen again. Hopefully I don't have technical difficulties this time. So I am going to make tweets where I'm going to put in a hashtag just to demonstrate an example to the audience if my laptop lets me.
Damon, sometimes it's slow using the internet. Maybe we go to the next presentation, then we'll come back to you afterward. You can show the tweet then, just in the interest of time.
To apologize. Yeah.
There's no problem at all.
I'd like to apologize to everybody that I didn't present the way that I intended to, because if I had faster internet, I'll share the presentation with everybody, inshallah.
Inshallah. So, and after the next session, next presentation as well, the Instagram one, if you want to show everybody the hashtag campaign, then maybe you can get it loaded up and it'll be easier to share then.
Yes, sounds
Since
good.
I'm done with my
So,
piece, I'm gonna shut down my laptop and continue to watch on YouTube.
Sab, go ahead.
Gee, Jazakallah. Jazakallah, brother Damon. So we can go ahead and then, Hamza, if you're ready for Instagram.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
No.
G, we can see it.
Okay. Gee, do you see it now when I went into present mode?
G, we can see it.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So I'm briefly going to be speaking on how we can do tabligh through the platform of Instagram. So Instagram is rapidly growing at the moment because a lot of youth is coming onto it and they're actively using it. So I think personally that it's a really good platform for us to engage on with tabligh. A lot of people use it. So here's some quick statistics about Instagram from 2019. Currently, it has about 1 billion active users every month. It's the 6th most popular social media platform. And there's a few more statistics that you guys can take a look at. So how does Instagram compare to other social media platforms? What does it have for us that other social media platforms don't? So the one downside of Instagram is that it's not a platform that allows you to have lengthy conversations. For example, you're not on Instagram to have a back and forth for like a whole paragraphs of messages. That's not what it's meant for. Instead, what it is meant for is it lets you have shorter but high impact statements that other people can see and they can drop likes on them, which allows other people to actively look at it as well. So compared to other social media outlets, it's most likely comparison to Snapchat. So how do people communicate through Instagram? So there's many routes that you can use in Instagram for communication. The most popular, I would say, is the story, which allows you to post a picture or a short video clip. And that post is good for 24 hours. And people often look at the story more often. It's a short burst of information that people are actively looking at. So the next best route is the post, of course, which lets you post either a picture or a video, and then you're able to have a short comment under it, and people are able to like these posts, unlike the story, which is only viewed. So there are many Ahmadis who are currently using Instagram to spread the message of Islam and Ahmadiyyat. So one way to engage the audience, obviously, like I mentioned, is the story. You can use the story to post short glimpses of Islam, what we believe in, what other people want to hear, controversial issues. Another interesting thing you can do is have a Q&A session on Instagram through text. So basically, you can post on your story that if anyone has a question, they can ask you, and people will probably ask questions because it's an anonymous platform when responded to. For example, we have MD Answers, who's very active on Instagram, alhamdulillah. He does Q&A every week where people ask a lot of questions, and I've been following this, and it has a really good result because other people are able to see answers to questions they might have not thought of before, which is a good way to do Tabligh, of course. So another way you can utilize Instagram is by using the reply. So people generally will comment things that are arrogant or rude, and in these cases, the best way is to respond with wisdom, and because other people are watching as well. So when they see these responses, they themselves are entranced in how you responded, and perhaps they'll be interested in Islam just from the way you responded. So this is an example of a reply that was posted by MD Answers, where a person said, claimed that MDs are paid to uh, show that they're Muslim, and MD Answers simply posted a comment and the picture and got 252 likes. So people realized that he's not like doing what the allegation portrayed. So, in conclusion, I would say Instagram is a unique platform. It doesn't give way to have long conversations, but it relies on the user to have more of a shorter and stronger punch method. And it can, if used properly, it can give a lot of results for the bleak, inshallah. That's all I have. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. So, Musab, if you have any questions or if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and ask.
Okay, so we'll take the
Go on.
first question from Hassan Sayed. Hassan Bhai, I'm going to unmute you.
Assalamu alaikum. So my question is, should we, when we're on these social media platforms, should we be actively looking for maybe different allegations or arguments that people are trying to make against Islam or Ahmadiyyat, or should we what do we do kind of in the middle stage where maybe you don't have any allegations, like you don't see any, and you're just kind of going through what's kind of the best post to do in that? So that's probably my question.
So I think Brother Damon, he's not online, but for Twitter, there's an advanced search feature on Twitter. You can search for any keywords and it will show you, you can also highlight how many likes that comment will have. You can write, like, if it has 10 likes, show me this. So it will show you, and it'll show you the most latest ones as well. And so for Twitter, you can do that and you'll be able to pick up on different allegations and things people are writing. You can type in keywords. You can type in Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. You can type in Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and it will narrow them down. It's easier to pull those up. For Facebook, I think Zahir Bhai, you can jump into that. If you don't mind.
Sure, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, same thing with Facebook. If you go to Facebook and just go to the search, you can type in things like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad or Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or you could even type in, what I do sometimes is type in things like like Muhammad, false prophet, Wanauzubillah, of course, but we want to respond to those allegations, right? So we want to look up things like Qadiani. You want to look up things that other people call us, that other people have allegations towards us, right? Like false messiah or religion of terror or something like that. So usually you want to weed out the people that are angry, that are just going to be trolling you and calling you bad names. You want to try to get to people that have a lot of likes and a lot of retweets and have a good audience. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Any other questions? Go ahead and raise your hand. And we're looking at the questions on YouTube as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment them in the YouTube section as well. Another question that comes up is, how do we know which Khuddam who's trying to troll? Sorry, how do Khuddam know who is trying to troll, as you had mentioned?
So I think, you'll be able to tell, when somebody takes it to an extreme or just starts abusing somebody, you'll be able to tell right away. It's pretty straightforward. But I don't know, Zahir Bhai, if you have any more examples from Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, one example is that sometimes you'll respond with dignity, with love. You know, we want to win people's hearts, right? So, but sometimes people will just continue to be angry, obnoxious, or like really rude and post rude comments. You want to weed those people out, right? Because some of them are posting things about anti-Ahmadi sites or like anti-Islamic or anti-Muslim sites, and they just regurgitate what they see on those websites or what they've heard from their people. So you want to kind of weed them out and just say, peace be with you. You know, I wanted to have a nice dialogue with you, but it seems that you know, you're not willing to engage with me and on, you know, on that way, and you could just say peace. But you can recognize them pretty quickly, and I would say don't waste your time with them, but just say peace, and you know, I just wish you luck, you know, amid this crisis.
And I think just another point I want to add on to that is, Hazrat Masih Maud has mentioned this too, that, there was a time where there was a debate he was having. I forget exactly with who, but he basically wrote that, have that person write his response and I'll write my response and it can be published in a newspaper and people can decide whose response is better. So sometimes it's not about, going back and forth, but it's just about posting a comment there and letting people decide who's giving the better argument. So I think that's important to remember.
Jazakallah Sab. So we'll come now to Guide Sab Ashkash. Hashim, I'm going to unmute you.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah for a wonderful presentation for the speaking. My question is, or rather more like I want you to comment on, we are all aware of the, the ill effects of the social media. These, especially for a younger Khuddam audience that may be wanting to engage as many users as possible for Tabligh, especially through things like Facebook or Snapchat. You may want to speak about perhaps if how to prevent going in a different direction. For us Khuddam, if there's other female users that are out there that are probably interested for the wrong reasons. Do you have something to say about that? How to prevent those situations? Jazakallah.
So off the base, I mean, definitely, you want to, like I said, we have our own Tabligh group where we work together as a team. So it's good to have, work with brothers together and in a unified way. Secondly, for social media, you don't have to put your, your personal information on there. A lot of people put their picture. You can put your picture on there if you want, but you don't have to. You can remain anonymous. But those are one of the ills of social media, and we're not asking Khuddam to stay on social media day and night and respond to allegations. Just whereas anywhere you can assist us, one or two different comments. In general, social media, like what we're doing, is just strictly Tabligh. But like you mentioned, these are one of the social ills, and the way to avoid those, we're trying our best where we've made a group and we work together. Because if you're with us, then that's where your focus is going to be, on responding to allegations instead of going into other things. Zarpa, I don't know if you had any points you wanted to make as well.
Sure, sure. I mean, as Motamim Saab mentioned that, there's hardly a youth that's not on social media, so they're already on there. The thing is to transform it to become a Tabligh platform or even an educational platform, right? So there's a quote of Hazrat Isa. He said that I have not come to the righteous, I've come to the sinners, right? So when we're doing Tabligh, we're not necessarily doing Tabligh to people that are agreeing with us and things like that. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're not engaging personally with females or anybody like that. And sometimes you might get a response that is an inappropriate picture or something from the opposite gender, and you just want to kind of ignore those things, but make sure that if somebody does ask a question and they're female, that you answer them with respect, with dignity, and you could even say that you can engage with like Sister Saima, Sheikh Saiba, or something like that. We can maybe get them connected to a female member, but you don't want to leave them hanging at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point. Just like Zarpa has mentioned, even in real life, I mean, the way you end up with gold when gold is made is constantly is put into the fire, and the impurities go away, and eventually it comes out as gold, right? So this is how it's going to be, unfortunately, with social media and even in real life. Face to face Tabligh. You're going to come up about in these situations. You might come across women while you're doing Tabligh. So it's best to work together as a team to kind of help avoid these situations. And when Khudam see other Khudam doing tabligh, they get an idea of how they're supposed to do it online.
Jazakallah Saab. So next we'll come to Munassar Alam Saab. Munassar, bhai, I'm gonna unmute you.
Assalamu alaikum.
You can-
Okay. So I have a question. So when we're doing online tabligh, I have a tendency to like shy away from my like my own Facebook account or my own Instagram or whatever that I already have, because I feel like if I expose like this stuff more like, for example, if I were to post something about the death of Hazrat Isa alayhi Islam, and then all my school friends would see it, I would feel like I wouldn't be able to handle all the pressure maybe from like people I know in school. So what do you think about that? Jazakallah.
Exactly. I mean, like I mentioned, you can. I mean, there's plenty of Khuddam who are in a group too who use secondary accounts. They don't use their primary accounts. They make like an anonymous account or something like that. You can make a secondary one if you want. You don't have to use your personal account if you don't feel comfortable with.
Jazakallah. And so now we'll come to some questions from YouTube. There are about 3 questions from YouTube. The first is a question is, what are some resources we would use if we may not be able to respond to a point during a discussion? This comes from Muhtamim Saab, Sayyid Jismani.
So, like I mentioned, we have our online Tabligh group chat, which you can join. Khuddam can join. We can discuss in there. There's a couple different websites from Jamaat. There's Rational Religion, I think .org. That's geared towards atheism. There's ymd.org, which is geared towards allegations against Ahmadiyyat. There's muhammadfactcheck.org, any allegations against Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Islam in general. So there's a lot of resources you can use, and you can skim through there. They did a good job with majority of the allegations that people bring up. So you do have those websites, but also if you want a confident way to do Tabligh, you can definitely, I suggest joining our online Tabligh group. I'll share that link at the end of the session. Zahir Bhai, if you have any more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, exactly those things. I mean, those things are specifically geared towards Tabligh and the answers as well, as Muhtamim Saab mentioned. And, you know, if you read books of Promised Messiah, if you read the Holy Quran, if you read Hadith every now and then points will come up to you, right? And you might want to share those points when you see them, like about the natural death of Hazrat Isa or some Hadith you came across or some Quranic thing. You know, you can start lightly. You don't have to get straight into the in-depth things. Just start lightly.
Jazakallah. So we'll continue on. But before that, a quick comment from Sadr Saab on the YouTube channel. Sadr Saab says, Muhtamim Saab, that's a nice bookshelf. And if maybe you could link the, this is not what Sadr Saab said, but maybe you could link the Amazon or the link to the bookshelf so other brothers can also get the good fortunes of it. So we'll continue with these questions. Another question comes as Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. People often do not respond to comments because the bad language gets reflected in your followers. How to tell them that the first priority should be to respond? This comes from Muhammad Danish Ahmad.
So I think yeah, sometimes you might see bad language, but you can also use it as a means of a positive thing too. I think Zahir Bhai, you have there was a Christian that was really upset. If you want to share that story, I'll go ahead and let you share.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So the Christian started off by saying, negative things about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was very against him, and we went back and forth like a couple times. Then one time I posted, I said, by the way, I hope you're doing well amid this COVID pandemic, and I hope your family is doing well. If you need any assistance, our Khuddam are ready to assist you. And he replied back and said that, like, I appreciate that we're doing well. I appreciate your courtesy in responding back to me. So many times, yeah, there is negativity out there. You want to turn it around, right? Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran that, repel evil with what is best. And then lo and behold, your enemy will become your friend. So you want to respond with dignity. It doesn't matter how they, what language they use towards you. I used to be in early childhood education. It doesn't matter what the children or what the, other people, what language they use. It matters on how you respond to them. So you want to show them that we're still responding with dignity. You don't have to use bad language, and we can continue this with dignity. Otherwise, I'm just gonna, move on.
Jazakallah. So another question comes, and so we'll keep taking questions, I think, for another 2 or 3 minutes. And then so another question comes. The question is, what's the best way to transition from social media tabligh to in-person or to more personal level? This comes from Naib Sadasab. I'm not sure which Naib Sadar, but one of them.
So, I mean, I think it's happened, as Zahir Bhai has mentioned this too, I'll let him mention it, the points you made about putting your contact information on your profile, you can do that as well. But I mean, just in general, there's numerous times where I've been on Twitter and I'm having a discussion with somebody, and because of Twitter limitations for tweets, they ask me, can I DM you? So they start DMing me and we just talk. And depending on where that person is, that's the only issue. You don't know where the person is going to be. So it's not like you're going to be talking to somebody that's next door to you. You're going to be able to meet them face to face. But at least if somebody's in direct messaging you or something, you have more of a space to respond to them where there's not a limitation, character limitation. So you can switch it to that as well, or emails. You can do that as well. And if they're close to you, then I guess you can meet them once COVID-19 is over. But Zahir, if you have any other points you want to make.
Yeah, exactly. As Motamam Saab said, that the DMs, you're responding to them. You can give them you can give them your phone number. My wife recently didn't like that, but because a lot of people were calling, but it was good in that sense. But just to keep the peace at home, I just kept it to my email. But as Motamam Saab said, exactly, as the COVID is over, you can invite them to the Real Talk in Islam, the Coffee Cake and True Islam, whatever your khadam are doing. Do flyer distributions and things like that. But as Motamam Saab mentioned, that there's people from all over the country. Some people are going to be from the Bible Belt, so they're not going to listen to you at all. They're just going to throw verses of the Gospels and things. But you can say, I can connect you locally. I can connect you to somebody locally, and they have events and things going on.
Jazakallah. And so that question came from Najat Sab Hibibai. Did anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, we can wrap it up. I'll give Motam Saab a second to give some closing remarks, and then he can share the QR code as well. And if not, I don't see on YouTube, but here, Motam Saab, you can go ahead and take it away, and then I'll make some quick announcements at the end as well.
Jazakallah. So I appreciate everybody joining, and I think the main point that I wanted to put across was just everybody online on YouTube and on Zoom, if they want to join our Tabligh group chat. We're not asking you to do Tabligh 24 hours a day. It's just 2-3 tweets. Even if you want to do that a week, that's still good for us. And you'll be able to learn a lot more online on Twitter, because what happens is you'll get anonymous people replying to you, and they're more confident and a little bit brass and asking you questions on Islam and Ahmadiyyat versus somebody asking you in person. In person, people are going to try to avoid these things. That way you will have confidence to reply to like different types of allegations that you might not see in person. And that's a positive thing about doing Tabligh online too. You learn things, you pick up things quickly. But also the good thing is to join our group. So if you get locked up or you're in a situation where somebody's asking you some type of question online, you don't know how to respond, there's a place you can ask us and we'll assist you with that. And I'll go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see that link one more time for those brothers that would like to join our group. And this is the link to it. It's rebrand.ly/online Tabligh. There's the QR code if you'd like to join our online Tabligh group chat. This is in Telegram. And with that, just jazakallah to everyone. And Najib Bhai or Motam Saab, if you have any points at the end.
Jazakallah. First and foremost, I just want to thank Motam Saab for taking the time out and his entire team for taking the time out to join us and really give us a lot of information in regards to Tabligh. I know myself personally, I've learned a lot, and inshallah we can take this information and apply it practically, right? This is something that we can quantify how much time we're spending on this, especially during this quarantine. Just for the final announcements, I just want to talk about the next session that's going to begin at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. That session is being presented by the National Amumi Department. And this is one of the sessions that I think is extremely crucial for our Khuddam to take part in. The Amumi team will be walking you through disaster preparedness and this COVID-19 preparedness, what you need to have in your house, how you should be storing those things in your house. self-defense, anything in that regard as well. How the Umumi team will be showing you how you can best protect yourself in COVID-19, how you can protect your family, and all these things. And so it'll be a really nice interactive program. Irfan Bhai has promised a tour of his house to show us his setup in his house. So inshallah, wait around for MKA cribs. Other than that, I think we can inshallah wrap it up. So my only request is that please use this next hour to complete your salat, and inshallah we'll meet everybody again at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Jazakallah everyone for joining, and inshallah we'll catch you at 9 p.m.
Jazakallah.